All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and if you're here, it's because you're ready to reduce stress, burn stubborn fat, and get your body working with you instead of against you. On this podcast, we're all about simple, no BS strategies for fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. This way, you can feel strong, confident, and in control. I'll give you the tools, mindset shifts, and habits to help you look and feel your best without spending hours in the gym or stressing over every single meal. Now, let's get into it. All right, welcome back. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that you need to be reminded rather than taught, because you've heard this before, probably from me. You've probably thought about it a bunch, and you've probably seen it and heard it from other people. But the big idea here that we're going to talk about today is that health, and when it comes to living your best life, is not a 30-day challenge. It's not a diet. It's not some short season of being disciplined. It is an infinite game, right? Our goal is not to achieve a weight loss or a strength goal or a certain body fat percentage for a period of time. It is to feel good for the entirety of our life. And more importantly, to be able to function and to operate in a way that you don't have pain, you're not suffering, you're not having to deal with disease as long as possible, right? For the entirety of your life until we are passed away and we are no longer human beings, you want to be healthy. You know, we've all felt sick before and all we can think about is just getting better, right? All of those other things that are going on aren't even a thought in our mind because all you want is to feel good. So if that's the case, right? If the goal is to feel good, stay independent in your later years, have energy, avoid that unnecessary pain, right? And enjoy your life for as long as possible, then we need to do a certain things. And we also need to have a mindset shift. And today, that is what we are diving into, right? Like I talk to so many people and you see folks online, right? And a lot of people are treating their health like it's this finite short game. But the truth is, health is an infinite game, right? You don't want to just lose 10 pounds for summer. You don't want to just feel good, move well, and think clearly now. You want to enjoy that all the way into old age. And what I see a lot of times is this roller coaster that people live on. And man, it's it's kind of crazy to witness because I've been in the fitness and health and functional space going on 10 years now. So you see people come and go. You see how people's mindsets are and how they kind of pan out over years and years rather than just even acknowledging and working with people for a year. It's over the span of 10 years now. So you get to see trends, right? And what I see a lot is that people will go all in for a short period of time, right? Like they're locking in with their food, their workouts, their supplements, their routines. And what their hope is that there's going to be some quick win, right? Like they're going to lose a good amount of weight in time for summer. They're going to get in shape for their children's wedding, their son or daughter's wedding, right? Like something is in their life that's externally pushing them. And I'm not against using those things as motivation and as a force to get the ball rolling. But if that's the only driver for your life and you're in hopes of this quick win, the mindset is not built for long-term health and you will soon find yourself right back where you started and frustrated, right? Because when you're hoping for that quick win, we all know that life is going to happen, right? Someone's going to get fired from their job, a loved one's going to pass away. You might go through a cold winter where it's snowing a lot outside and you can't do your normal routine. Like something is going to happen in life, it's inevitable. Then what that leads to is your motivation is going to drop off. And then you are going to fall off, right? You're going to fall off your routine. You're going to say, I can't believe this happened. And then you're going to spend weeks, months, or even years repeating this cycle. And this is what I mean where I said I've seen this because I've been in the game for 10 years now. I've seen people go through this cycle on repeat. Like I said, it might be a month-long cycle. It might be a couple years cycle. But what inevitably happens is you have this spark of motivation. It lasts for so long. You may achieve results, you may not. Then life happens, you fall off, and then you repeat it again and again. And the problem is, it's not that these people are incapable of achieving their goal, and it's not that they're broken, and it's not that like you suck or anything like that. You're playing the wrong game, right? You're playing this game of this finite game of trying to lose 10 pounds or trying to get ready for the beach or trying to get ready for your kid's wedding, and you're thinking about it in too small of a game. You see, if you keep doing this whole like starting and stopping nonsense, you're never going to get the compound effect that building health gives you and of doing things on a consistent basis. And then you get frustrated, right? Not because the things that you're doing aren't working, but because you never stayed with them for long enough for that compound effect to take effect, right? If you walk every single day and you're doing your 10,000 steps or whatever it is, if you do that for a year straight, you're going to feel better, right? If you're eating whole foods 90% of the time for 5 years straight, you're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better. Like, these things are biologically and scientifically proven, right? We are a human science experiment, and we've done all the tests and the experiments before. Like, there's some simple foundational things that are true about health building. And if you do them long enough, you will see a result. But we are so caught up in the fact that we want it now, and we're not able to see the fact that, hey, if we look back, if we look forward 5, 10, 15 years, and we just did these things on a regular basis, how would we feel? Pretty amazing. And I know this because you could probably look back right now, like the age you're at right now. If I told you 5 years ago, if you would have just stuck with a few basic things that we're going to talk about today, you would be in the place that you could never dream of. Would you believe me? Because the answer is true, right? If you could go back 5 years and do what I'm telling you to do today, you would be where you were, where you would want to be. And I know that might be annoying to say because you can't go in the past, but guess what? It's true. But here's what also is true. If you take this information today and you decide to commit to yourself right now, today, in this 24 hours, in 5 years back, you'll look back and say, man, thank God that I did that. Thank God I changed my mindset and took the approach to live the infinite game, the long run, and work on small things on a daily basis. Because guess what? 5 years is coming no matter what, right? You might think it's such a long time away, but it's really not. You're going to snap your fingers and you'll be there. I want you to look back and say, man, I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And it wasn't that hard. It just took little compounded efforts over time. Now, the reason why this mindset of like this finite quick wins, why this mindset can become dangerous, right? Because most of the time, when you're chasing fast results, it often leads to these extreme approaches. I'm talking about extreme dieting. I'm talking about overtraining your body. I'm talking about obsessively tracking numbers. Now, tracking is important, but if you're having an obsessive mindset over it, it can become bad. Then there's unsustainable rules. Like, you put yourself into this box where you must follow certain rules that are just not going to happen for you in the long run, right? Then you start ignoring your stress signals, your sleep, your recovery goes downhill, your hormones start to fluctuate, and the actual life that you're living, like your real life, starts to get ignored. And this leads to a life that is frustrating. It might cause you pain, suffering, annoyances, and it's just not what we're looking for anyway. Like, health is an all-encompassing thing. Yes, it is to have good numbers on your labs and to feel good, but it's just like your overall experience of life improves when your health improves, right? So these quick wins that you're after and that you may have achieved, right, they can cost you your long-term health if what you're doing, like the modality and the method that you're doing, is not sustainable. The big thing right now, depending on when you're listening to this, but it's 2026, is peptides and GLP-1s. Now, again, I'm not completely against people using peptides, but the conversation surrounding GLP-1s, to me, for a lot of the folks that I talk to, is not an empowering one, right? It's like, I'm going to use this because I feel like I can't lose weight, or I feel like my sister-in-law looks great because she's doing it, right? And so you just all of a sudden start taking a GLP-1, not knowing the long-term side effects. To me, I think that there's a better way. To me, I think that it can be used as a tool for the right person in the right circumstance. But I also don't want you to think that, oh man, I've tried everything, when you think you have, but possibly you haven't. And you just jump to conclusions and do that because you see other people losing weight or looking good in your eyes, when you don't know they could be severely nauseous, they could be having terrible side effects, and just doing it anyway because they think it'll help them lose weight. To me, the thought of having those long-term negative effects and just dealing with those side effects is not worth it. But you choose your own battles. I'm just here to share my opinion, right? So, I mean, the overarching thing is that you don't want to have fake progress that burns you out, right? You want progress that actually makes your life better and helps you become someone who can stay well. You see, I heard a good analogy once, and they were talking about a young kid. Like, just take this scenario for example, right? Let's say there's a 16-year-old kid and he wants to get as strong as he can and build muscle. So the trainer that he's working with gives him steroids and he becomes super jacked and super strong. Would you say that that was a smart approach to helping this kid achieve his goal? You might say no, because steroids, they can cause long-term health effects. They might be illegal in some places, and it's just not the way you should do it. Because you should be teaching him proper nutrition, proper form, sustainable weightlifting techniques, and help him build muscle over time. You would say that in that scenario, right? Well, then why don't we think about it for ourselves? Because the same thing applies when we're talking about these short-term fixes and these extreme approaches. You're just throwing something into the equation to try to hopefully get yourself a quick win or a quick result when we don't know what the long-term effect is. And number two, if you're not building the habits, the mindset, the routine, and the stability internally to withstand those results long-term, then you're going to go right back to where you were prior to using that quick fix, if not worse. It's just like the lottery winners who go broke after a few years of winning it. They did not build the mindset, the systems, and the belief in themselves to acquire that amount of money. Therefore, they don't know how to handle it. So when they win $100 million, they just blow it all, and all of a sudden they're in worse off situations than they were prior to winning the lottery. You hear it all the time. Same thing goes with your health. If you want to actually achieve a transformation, it comes from inner work. It comes from you changing your mindset, your identity, and your habits over the course of your life, not some quick diet, not some quick peptide, just being honest, right? So you must build the person who internally changes, and then the result of that is the change in your body composition and your health. Now, just remember that your health is bigger than weight loss. I talk about this a lot. I'm going to die on this hill. I'm always going to remind you of it, right? There is so much beyond the number on the scale, right? I ask people what they actually want, and when you boil it down, right, you want to wake up with energy, you want to move without pain, you want to stay independent later in your life so that when you get a little bit older, like, people aren't having to wipe your butt and change your clothes and drive you places, right? I know people who literally just drive folks to their doctor's appointments. Like, if my life were to wake up and go to doctor's appointments all day long, that is not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to do everything in my power now that I'm capable to not be in that position and to not have to put other people through that. You know, I talk to a lot of women who are in their, call it 50s to 60s, and they have elderly parents, and they're their caretakers, right? They're driving them all around, they're taking care of them, and now it's taking up all of their life as well. So not only are you a burden to yourself because you're frustrated, now you're a burden to other people because they have to take care of you. Hey, hope you're loving the episode so far. Thanks for spending some time with me. I got a quick favor to ask. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, because that's how I know you're getting value from the show. And this way, you never miss an episode. All right, now back to the show. Like, that's not cool. So if you are an able-bodied and able-minded person right now, it's your responsibility. You can't just sit back and let life happen to you. You got to take control of it right now, right? And then obviously we want to be able to enjoy your family, travel a little bit maybe, have some hobbies, and just enjoy your everyday life. So remember, your goal is not to try to be healthy for a season of your life. You are trying to build a body that is able to support you and adapt for decades to come, and literally for the rest of your life. So this is where the mindset shift happens, right? We're going to get into the nuts and the bolts of doing this, right? It all comes down with a shift in your mentality of health. And there is a power in winning the day and focusing on this 24-hour time period that you're in, right? Instead of obsessing over the next 3 months, I want you to come back to today. Like, be very present in this moment right now. Today and right now is where your power is. You cannot do anything about the past, and you can only affect the future for your better by taking action right now. Like, it's a kind of crazy concept to think about, but if you want your future to be better, you don't make it better by like thinking about it all day long. You make it better by taking action and being aware and conscious in the present moment, right? And if that is the case, you have a lot that you're in control of. I know in today's society, a lot of people fall victim to the victim mentality, right? They think everything is out of their control. They want to point the finger at someone and blame them for the circumstance that they are under. But I have news for you. There is still a lot that you can control. You can control what you think. You can control what comes out of your mouth and what you say. You control what you eat, how you move, who you listen to, and the actions that you take. And that's just a small list of the things you're in control of. And man, that is a lot. Just doing those things, staying in control of those, and being a person of your word can change your entire life. So remember, you don't need to change your entire future today. You just need to win the next 24 hours. Like what you set out to do today, and be super present and aware with what you're doing. So when you stop trying to solve all of your life's problems and achieve this insane weight loss or perfect body right now, just focus on today, right? The weight of your health, like not physical weight, but like the mental weight of your health starts to feel lighter, starts to feel simpler, and most importantly, it starts to feel doable for you and not overwhelming. And that's why I love to live by standards and what I would call non-negotiables, right? I'm talking about the idea of having a few daily standards that you live by. And these are things that you're going to do kind of no matter what the circumstance is, because you're in control of them and you're going to prioritize them. This isn't a perfect plan. This isn't a complicated protocol. These are just a few things that you can do consistently and improve and adjust over time. So for example, it might be drinking enough water. And everyone is different. Maybe you only drink 1 glass of water a day. So your enough would be 2 glasses of water, right? Like you're working your way up and building some momentum and confidence in yourself. Maybe it's eating enough protein. Maybe your goal over time is to eat 200 grams of protein in a day, but right now you eat 30. So let's get to 60. And that's something that you can do on a daily basis. Maybe it's walking every day, setting an alarm to walk for 5 minutes after your lunch. Maybe it's getting outside. Instead of getting changed in the dark and, being hidden in the house, maybe you step outside and get some sunlight in the morning, right? Maybe it's going to bed at a decent time. I had a conversation with a client and they said, it all starts from my bedtime. If I can go to bed at a certain time, that means I get a certain amount of sleep, which means I wake up in the morning and I'm able to work out, which means then I have a healthy breakfast. It's this domino effect that gives them a tremendous momentum in their next day. So they are aware of that, and they know that that's one of their standards. Getting to bed at a certain time really means a lot to them, right? Maybe it's getting off your phone at nighttime so you can decompress, so you give yourself an hour before bed. Maybe it's starting the day with some intention where you journal or meditate or just sitting quiet for 30 minutes before the rush of the world hits you without your phone. Maybe you strength train 2 to 3 times a week. Or maybe you manage stress in a simple way like taking a bath, going for a walk, right? Those are good examples of what I personally use and what a lot of my clients use to hold standards and to hold these non-negotiables within their life so that health becomes manageable, simple, and not overwhelming. So the win in your day, which you're trying to achieve, is not to do everything perfect and not to do all of it at once. The win is to do the right small things over and over again. So maybe from that list that I just rambled off, maybe you only can see yourself doing one thing, but you do it and you do it consistently over the course of a week. You are going to feel better than you do right now. There might not be a huge weight loss. There might not be this dramatic change. But what you're doing is changing your identity. You're changing your mindset. And I promise you, if you allow yourself over the course of the next 5 years to start incorporating some of these small daily habits, they will compound. You will receive progress. But more importantly, the person you will become will be so far more disciplined, so much better of a mindset, so much more positive than the person that you started off being. I promise you, by doing this, this is the key, right? So the best part about these non-negotiables is they're not rigid, right? Life changes, you have different seasons of life, the amount of stress that you're under changes, your body physically changes, but the standards can stay, but the way they look will evolve, right? So maybe, one season of your life, your movement and the stuff that you do for exercise is intense, right? You're doing intense workouts and that feels good. But maybe another season of your life is long walks and doing stretching and mobility. That still counts. You're just listening to your body and what it needs in that season of your life. But your standard never changed. You still prioritize movement. You still nourish your body with moving it and give it the love that it needs, essentially, right? So this whole idea of having standards is not about perfection. It's just about taking ownership over what you do control, which, like we said, is a lot, and having the adaptation over time to improve them, to mold them, and to adjust them to your greater benefit. I'll be honest for myself. I was an athlete my whole life. I pushed it to the brim. I mean, I would push as hard as I could. And then when sports stopped for me, I took that same approach into the gym. I would lift as heavy as I can, run as hard as I could, run as far as I could. Like, I became severely athletic in a good way. I felt really good. But recently, my body has been taking a toll on these workouts. Like, if I push too hard, I feel the effects. So I need to take a step back, adjust my stress levels, heal my body from the inside rather than just push it hard, and listen to it in a way that is going to benefit me long term. So that's an adaptation that I've had to make, but my standard of moving my body, sweating, strength training, and doing those things stays the same, right? And like I said, all of these things, the beauty of them is the compound effect, right? So health habits are kind of like money and compound interest. And we all know that when we add money into our interest-bearing savings account, the more it grows, the more interest that we get back from it. So these few small choices, when they're done consistently, they build into a very different lifestyle down the road. That's why I said before, if you were to look ahead, or if you were to look back 5 years if you were to go 5 years in the future and look back to today, you would be a completely different person, right? Most people underestimate what these simple habits can do over time. They want the thing next month. They want the body of their dreams in a week. But if they could just understand that it can happen in a year, 2, 3, 4, and you don't have to push that hard, like it takes consistently hard work, but it's not like overcomplicated, right? Then you can see how you can win. And these daily choices, the problem that I think really is that it's simpler than you think is required. Like, you think it needs to be some complex plan. You think it needs to be super, super hard. But these daily choices, they're going to feel minor, but when they're shaping your entire future and your body and your health and your mind and your future quality of life, like, they seem simple, but what they're doing compounded has such an extreme effect that you can't even imagine what it could be like, right? Like, every day that you repeat one of these healthy actions, you're casting a vote for the person who you want to become. And not only will you achieve the physical results, but when you've changed your identity, it's game over. Then you no longer have to worry about, when am I going to fall off? No, you've become a different person, and that person knows how to withstand an everlasting, improving health and body. So just to wrap things up here, I don't want to ramble on too long. We need to look at health as an infinite game. From today until the day you die, you're going to want to improve your life and improve your quality of health, right? So stop trying to win health in a week, a month, or in some challenge that you're doing. And when you do this, it will stop you from doing this roller coaster of starting and stopping and starting over, right? We just need to zoom in to just today, these 24 hours. What can we do? What are we in control of? And build these non-negotiables that you can live with. Not that I do, not that the person on Instagram does, but you need to analyze where you're at right now and build your non-negotiables about one step above that. Like I said, let's say you drink 1 glass of water, try to do 2 and do it on a daily basis. Something that you feel you can do with confidence and step into that power on a daily basis, right? Then you just have to let consistency compound. You do that 1 day, you do that 2 days, 3 days. Next thing you know, you did it 7 days in a row and you have won your week. Now you build confidence. Now you build, that compounding interest on your health habit. So then you do it again and again. And now you've won 4 months or 4 weeks. Now you've won the month. And as you build confidence, guess what's going to happen? You're going to go from 2 glasses of water to 3 because it's not going to seem hard anymore. And you're going to be able to do that with different habits. And then the jumps that you thought were once impossible will just be the next rung on the ladder. And you will be right there waiting for it. So that right there, that's how you win, right? I wish I could come on here and give you some secret sauce. And really that was the secret sauce. The secret sauce is the sauce that no one wants to tell you about, is that it does take long. It does take compounding. It does take these simple efforts done consistently over a long period of time. So if health and building it is a game that you're going to play for the rest of your life, please stop looking for shortcuts, right? Just win today, then do it again tomorrow. And over time, that's how you build the body and the life that actually lasts and sustains the test of time. So if this is something that has interested you and you are looking for more help, let me know. I want to hear from you guys, questions you have, interests that you have. And if you're someone, particularly a woman who's over 40, who really has tried all of this stuff, you've been eating healthy for a while, you've been doing your strength training, and you still feel frustrated, like you feel that fatigue, you feel that the weight around your hips won't go and something feels off, we need to look deeper. So that's where we get into my coaching program. That's where we get into checking your labs and finding out a custom protocol for you. But that is for a select group of women, right? These are the people who have been doing the work over and over again for time and time again, who have built the consistency and still need that extra layer of support. But if this message resonated with you at all, please share it with a friend, share it on your social medias, and at least start taking action. Because if you do nothing with this, then my time, this message doesn't help anyone. But even if you don't share it with a friend, if you take action on this and start moving in the right direction in your life and it impacts you, then I've done my job and we can go to sleep at night and be happy about it. So guys, I thank you for listening and spending your time with me. I will see you next week. Hey, thanks for spending some time with me on today's episode. I hope you got a ton of value from it. If we're not connected on Instagram yet, let's change that. Hit me up at Sean Calhoun _. That's SEAN Calhoun _. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think of the show or if you got any questions about how to level up your health. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode.